Hey friends, welcome to my very first official cosplay making video on this channel. So just a month before New York Comic Con, I decided to last minute change my cosplay to the character named Deet from the new Dark Crystal series, Age of Resistance. I recently watched this series and absolutely just fell in love with it. The characters and craftsmanship and cinematography are just so mind-blowingly gorgeous. If you haven't seen it yet, I implore you to do so. It absolutely just blew me away. And as a puppet enthusiast such as myself, I wanted to create something that represented all of the incredible work that went into this show. I'll be showing you the process of my Deet costume from start to finish, and keep in mind that a lot of what I do is very experimental. I want to show you what worked and what didn't work so you can learn from it too. So anyway, we have a cosplay to make, so let's get started. So I'm going to start by pulling as many reference photos of the character that I can to make sure that I understand all the parts that go into it. For this cosplay specifically, I not only need to scale the pieces up, but I also need to scale it for human body proportions because I'm not quite a puppet. Creating a colored sketch will also help me identify what fabric colors I need to look for and how I should expect it to look at the end. I'm then going to break down each piece so I know exactly what I need and how I'm going to make it, buy it, or borrow it. So I'm starting a rough pattern before I fabric shop. That way I can identify what type of fabric I need and how much I need to get. I purchased my fabrics at Fleischmann Fabrics here in Philadelphia. For the outer coat layer, I purchased some fresh Nurlock rump. Just kidding. We weren't quite sure what this was, but it is mostly synthetic. So next up we have some regular muslin, nothing too special. This is a cotton gauze that I thought would look really great for a tattered look. And lastly, some rope and ribbon for the belt and sleeve ties. So unfortunately, the fabric stores didn't have the color fabrics that I wanted, so I decided I'm going to dye all these fabrics myself using Rit dye. I also got 3 buttons, and found this crochet scarf from the thrift store for $3 to make Deet's little bag. Lastly, I found these beads at AC Moore for the coat and hair details. All of this together cost just under $80, which honestly I'm pretty happy with. The Rit website has a color guide if you're looking for a specific shade, so if you select a color, it will tell you the dyes that you need and what ratios to use, so that's very helpful. And with that, we are ready to start dyeing. So just a forewarning when using fabric dyes, they will stain most surfaces, including your hands, so be very careful with where you choose to do this. So I tried pouring dyes directly onto the fabric. Normally I would never do this, but I really wanted that patchy and imperfect look. If you want a more consistent look, definitely use a larger container or dye less fabric at a time. I'm dyeing the gauze in 2 batches, one for green and one of brown for variation. If you do accidentally dye your tub, leave it. Get it out as fast as possible. I used Fantastic Spray and steel wool to get it out. Huzzah. So some of these I chose to air dry, but the wearable fabrics I wanted to be pre-shrunk. That way I can wash these later if needed without worry of shrinking, and not be a stinky gelfling. I didn't realize at the time that this fabric is completely synthetic and therefore did not take any dye. So rather than finding a synthetic dye like a normal person would, I decided to hand paint the outer coat fabric to get it exactly how I wanted using watered down acrylics. So this took about 2 hours and my entire kitchen floor for 2 days, but I think it was worth it. With the fabrics dried and pressed, everything is finally ready to go. With my measurements, I'm able to start sketching out the pattern on tracing paper. If you're not familiar with the basic shapes of patterns, you might want to try to find an existing pattern that is similar, but I had no such luck. I'll be sewing 3 different pieces for this. The outer brown coat, the greenish underdress, and a 3rd skirt wrap that will include the front panel of the coat. That way the coat can be closed in the front. You'll see, just trust me. Okay, so here are all my pattern pieces. Since they're all mixed up here, I'm going to make your life easier and give you the basic pattern shapes that I created for each garment separately. Remember that your cosplay is your own creation, so explore different ways to do all this and have fun. So be sure to join me on the next video for sewing, fabric weathering, and detailing of the full outfit. I hope you found this interesting. If you have any tips and tricks that you would like to share, be sure to drop it in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you all very shortly for part 2. Go make something cool. Go, get out of here. Go. Welcome to my very first official... I'm nailing this.